I'll call the meeting to order. I'm Robert Clemens. I'm operating today in San Antonio, and it's cold here too. Need to call the meeting to order, call roll. Mr. Nemick,
Donald Nemick here and present.
Dr. White,
Francis White, present.
Ms. Pearson,
Here's a Pearson present.
Ms. Thompson,
Rose Thompson, present.
Robert Clemens present. Declare a quorum. You have any public comments? Becky?
No, sir, not at this time.
As usual, if something happens, let us know, and so we'll stop and take anything we need to. Review and approval of the minutes. Need a motion to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting on November 10th, 2022.
Francis White, I move that the minutes for the regular board meeting held on November 10th, 2022 be approved as written.
Second,
Donald Nemick, I second it.
we have a motion and a second that we approve the minutes of the meeting of November 10th, 2022. Take a vote. But Robert Clemens, yes. Mr. Nemick,
Yes.
Dr. White,
Francis White, yes.
Ms. Pearson,
Yes.
Ms. Thompson,
Rose Thompson, yes.
motion carries. Minutes of the special meeting. Do you have any objection if since we don't have a action meeting anymore, that we combine these last 2 minutes and minutes of the special board meeting of November 14th, 2022, and approval of the minutes of the special board meeting of November 15th, 2022. Combine those two. We have a motion to approve those two sets of minutes.
You want a motion, Mr. Clemens?
Yes, sir.
Francis White, move that the minutes just mentioned be approved.
Donald Nemick, I second it.
Roll call. Robert Clemens, yes. Mr. Nemick,
Yes.
Francis White,
White.
yes. Francis
Ms.
White, yes.
Ms. Pearson,
Yes.
Ms. Thompson.
Rose Thompson, yes.
Okay, the minutes are all approved. Move to the public hearing. Mr. Pollock, are you ready?
Yes, sir, I am ready.
Fire away.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. This is the public meeting portion of the board meeting, and it's to provide and go over the Texas Academic Performance Report, which is known as the TAPER. And this is a year behind, which is 21-22 school year. And it provides 7 sections of data. So we'll go over the accountability data, the financial reports that were also a year behind. They're actually from 2021 that were reviewed and approved in a previous board meeting. And then the accreditation status for Richard Milburn Academy. Section 4 is the campus performance objectives, which are the targeted improvement plans. And those were reviewed and approved in a previous board meeting, but they are provided within this annual report for public viewing. And then there's also the special education determination status that will go over the report on violent and criminal incidents, and then our student performance in post-secondary institutions, as well as our progress towards meeting House Bill 3 goals, which is the required tutoring for students that haven't passed one or more of the required EOC assessments. So section 1, Becky, if you want to scroll down to look at the first district TAPER, which is on page 48. And that way, when I tell them what we're looking at, and I just moved my screen too much.
Am I on the right page for you, Jim?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you. So on the TAPER, this is the district report. And The taper for the district and the campuses, it's compiled by TEA from two data sources primarily. It's the PEIMS information and then the student assessment data. And then it's presented online in two different formats. One is a dynamic online system where you can continue to scroll down, continue to open up menus to see details of data. And then there's a PDF version, which is used for reportings such as this public meeting and to the board. So it's more or less a abbreviated summary, although it's not that abbreviated because it still includes over 300 pages. So the cover page on the district report, if you want to scroll back up real quick, Becky. I was just going to mention the first page. I think it's on page 48. There it is. So on the cover page for the district and the campus, it will give you their overall rating, which is a C for the district. And we have not been rated. You'll see it in a minute on a summary that we've provided, but we haven't been rated for the prior 2 years. So in 2019, we received a C. And then, of course, COVID and the pandemic happened. So we're recovering from that. And gratefully, we did maintain our C rating, and that was with a lot of hard work. I understand that most districts either regressed or didn't do as well as what I think RMA did. So we did maintain our C rating from 2019 through 2 years of COVID. And so it provides the accountability rating also on the cover page. It will give you, and let me just mention also, sorry, for some districts, instead of a rating, they were designated not rated, a not rated label for 2022, because TEA in Senate Bill 1365, if a campus or district didn't receive a C or better rating, they received the not rated label again because of the COVID-19 impact. So they're giving us one more additional year to pull out of that. So some of our campuses did receive the not rated label because they would not have achieved a C rating. And then also on the cover page, there is a special ed determination status, which is needs intervention for RMA. And that is based on, we'll go over that needs intervention special determination or special education determination further down in the report, but it is based on quite a few different factors. And we are working with TEA for that intervention assignment. And then within the taper for the district and each campus, there's quite a bit of data. It includes the STAR performance data. If you just want to start scrolling down just a little, Becky, that it provides the STAR performance data. It's showing you the grades that are tested, the subject areas, the performance level, academic growth. It breaks it down by subpopulations of students, which are the special ed population, also the emergent bilingual. It also provides STAR participation, the attendance rates, the annual dropout rates for the district and each campus, as well as the 4-year, 5-year, and 6-year graduation rates, as well as the graduation plan rates. So there is quite a bit of information included in the taper. It also includes our college, career, and military readiness results for 2 years, 2021 and 2019-20. There are also student information as far as grade level. It's broken down by ethnicity, staff information, staff classification, teachers by ethnicity and gender. There is just quite a bit of information. So what we try to do is pull out key indicators. And Becky, if you want to go to back up to page 26, we provided a summary for the district and for each campus. And the summary page, we fit it on one page, but it goes back to, on the far right side, the year 2015, which is the year we consolidated the first accountability results after all of our campuses consolidated under one district. And it goes through 2022, the most recent accountability year. And then it's color coded. So in green, you'll see progression, red is color coded for regression. And then if it was maintained, it's in yellow. So you can see the overall rating for the district right there at the top is C. In 2019, we were also a C. And so we did, like as I mentioned, we did maintain our C rating after 2 years of the coming out of the pandemic. And then overall, we achieved an outstanding overall passing rate. So for all subjects for the year 2022 compared to 2021, which was at 36%, we did achieve or increase that back to 41%, which is where we were prior to the pandemic. And so we are making up for that lost time with student instruction. And then it's also broken down. It will give you the results for the students. There's three different levels of passing for the STAR assessments. They are at approaches, which is the overall passing rate, and then students that are at the meets level and master's level. So it's broken down by the various levels, as well as the special populations. So you can see that the special ed students also increased from the prior year, as well as the emergent bilingual. And then it's broken down by subject. So you can scroll down through the various subjects, but overall we did increase from last year back to 41%. Right there, there's the progress for English 2 and Algebra 1. TA looks at the STAR results for 8th grade math and compares that to Algebra 1 EOC. And then they look at English 1 and they compare the results to English 2. And so prior to the pandemic, back in 2019, we did have a 25% progress rating, which did drop. But last year for 2022, we did increase that back up to 40%. And then the next section is this college, career, and military readiness indicators. It's broken down by some of the key indicators, but overall that top line, last year we did drop to 10.3% after the pandemic coming out of it. And so we've managed to gain grounds on that back up to 16.6. And with Dr. Givens and her academic team, all the opportunities that they've implemented this school year, they will benefit us in next year's accountability. So we're hoping to see next year's CCMR rate much, much higher in the 50, 60, 70%. So there is a lot of work going on this year regarding college, career, and military readiness. And then the graduation rates are provided. We did regress in all area or years, 4-year, 5-year, and 6-year. But again, that's coming out of the pandemic. We've had students that have not been in attendance, higher number of students dropping out. So we are regaining those students and keeping them in school now. So we're expecting this year, 22-23, accountability to be back where it was or higher, especially with the CCMR opportunities that we're putting into place and working with students to get them to graduate and move on to their secondary education or careers. So we're anticipating that will increase as well. And then there's just basic enrollment information following that from TAPER. So you can see throughout the years our overall enrollment by all students, and then the groups, special ed and emergent bilingual. We are again coming out of the pandemic, so that the percentage rates did drop, but we are continuing to increase those on a regular basis, and they're much higher already this year. I think we're at 17, almost 18, if not over 1,800 students currently. And then the ADA percentages and the dropout rates, they're a year in arrears with the taper. So what we're actually looking at is the column to the right of this school year, which is the 68% overall ADA and 72% for special ed. So that's the information we'll receive this year, which is lower than prior to the pandemic. So it is just students having more difficulty coming to school, staying in school, attending on a regular basis did impact our overall rating in that area. But again, we have the student and community liaisons, which we've implemented that work with the students that have chronic that are chronically absent and aren't doing as well as they could be in their academic courses. So they work with those students one-on-one to get them enrolled. So we're anticipating those numbers to go up as well. And then there's some brief information about teaching staff and the years of experience overall, as well as the years of experience within the district. And then our turnover rate, which turnover rate has significantly dropped. It went from consistently dropped from 34% last year to 25% this year. And then I wanted to mention the next section, the bottom section on the district and each page. It's a summary of the improvement plans that are in place. And for each campus, it's their targeted improvement plan. But there is roughly 250 pages of the targeted improvement plans. So this is a quick summary of the different areas that are being addressed, as well as the goals and what improvement plan strategies each campus is implementing for this school year. And so that's a brief summary at the bottom for each campus. And so that's the summary report, or that's the taper report in a nutshell. Becky, if you want to go down just a little bit, there is a page for each campus. So this has been provided to the campuses. It's been reviewed and discussed at central office. And now it's going to be put on our website as part of this public information. So that's section 1. Now, if you want to go to section 2, Becky, which starts, I think, on page 319. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, I'm sorry. Go back up. I forgot. Right after the district, the page summaries, which is, go to page 36. We also provided some charts. This is the passing rates at the various levels, as well as for the student groups, special ed and emergent bilingual. So you'll see line graphs for each of those indicators. The red line is the COVID year, so 2020, where testing did not occur. And so you can see, for instance, there is a page for the district in each campus. So on the district page, you can see the overall passing rate was at 41% prior to the pandemic. We dropped to 36% coming out of the pandemic. And now we're back up to 41% this previous accountability year, which was 21-22. And we're hoping that will increase further going into the 22-23 school year. And so there is a line chart for each district and for each campus, just on those passing indicators. So I wanted to mention that. And then there is, following that, an interesting, I think it's interesting, a bit of information. It starts on page 46, Becky. Actually, go to 47. And this is, blow it up a little bit. It's a one-pager, but it's the district and each campus. It's the overall rating for the components, for the different domains. And this is 2019. So districts are comparing their pre-pandemic results to their post-pandemic results. So this is where we were in 2019. And then if you go up a page, Becky, to page 46. This is the same bit of information, but it's for the new school year or the new accountability year, which is 2022, which is what's provided in the taper. But it is color coded to show you that, for instance, at the district level, we did maintain our C, so it's color coded with yellow, but we did increase our overall score from 72 to 73%, or 73% this past school year. And then I highlighted which areas impacted that increase. So you can see, for instance, the 18, we increased our STAR performance overall for at the district level. And then we also increased the AEA bonus points that we received because of the graduation plans we have for our students. So out of all the different domains and the components, those are the two that were increased, that achieved a little bit higher overall score, and we were able to maintain our C rating. Next year, we're hoping that will be a B rating. TEA is working with dropout recovery schools and credit recovery schools such as ours, and they are implementing several changes to the accountability system, which should impact us positively a great deal for next year. So we're hoping this will improve and look better and better. Okay, and then it's the taper after this, which is by district in each campus. And then if you want to go to section 2, Becky, which starts on page 319. And this is the financial standards report that's also required to be part of the public report. And it's the same financial report from 2021 that was reviewed at a previous board meeting, actually on November 19th, 2021. And it provides the district revenues, expenditures, disbursements, tax rates, fund rates, as well as campus expenditures by object, class, function, and program. So all of the next few pages are that report. And then I think the next section, section 3. Go down, Becky. And this is the district's accreditation status. And districts are assigned an accreditation status. They're either accredited warned, accredited probation, or not accredited revoked. And depending on your rating, it may require interventions by TEA. So our accountability rating that we were assigned for the 21-22 school year is accredited. And what that involves, TA considers the academic accountability ratings, our financial ratings, our data integrity, as well as program area deficiencies identified through the results-driven accountability, which is the federal side of accountability. So TA reviewed all of that for our district and did assign us an accredited rating. Go down to section, or then you can pull up. Go to the next page and it will show you the actual accreditation rating, which is right there. Go down a little bit more. Oh, I guess that was it. Okay. I thought you had a page that showed the accreditation, but we did receive the accredited rating, so RMA is good. And then the next page, the next section is the campus performance objectives. Those are the ones that were provided in a previous board meeting as well and reviewed. And they're just required to be part of this public report. And as I mentioned on the summary pages back at the top, the summary for the next, it's page 329 to 563, as all the campus targeted improvement plans. So they were summarized on that one-page summary report at the top. But this is all the detailed information that is required to be part of the report for public viewing. So then if you want to go down, Becky, to section 5, which is 564. And this is the special education determination status. The district is assigned a needs intervention. And this label is assigned by TEA, and it represents the results from our results-driven accountability, which is the federal side of accountability. They are much higher rates. The federal side does not consider that we are an alternative education district, and it doesn't consider that we're a dropout recovery school. So it does maintain the higher rates. So we work with TEA in order to bring our status and our overall ratings up to meet the federal side. But they look at the results-driven accountability. They look at the SPED program and other areas that are federally required areas. And they look at our state performance plan, compliance indicators, as well as any uncorrected noncompliance or financial audit findings. So after reviewing all of that, they did note that special education determination status is a needs intervention, which we were last year, and we work with TEA on a monthly basis regarding our strategies to improve that area, as well as our current monitoring of the activities and strategies that we have in place. So as a matter of fact, we just met with TEA last week regarding the information that we compiled and provided as evidence, and they were overall very pleased with the effort and the amount of work that RMA is doing. Okay, then the next section, Becky, section 6. And this is the report on violent or criminal incidents on campus. There were not any reportable incidents that occurred. So on a table a couple of pages down, you'll see everything was reported 0. And then back to the couple of pages back up, Becky, I'm sorry. We are required to mention also the activities and things that we have in place to address school safety. And so I did just do an itemized list of everything that's going on with TEA. It's the third bullet down, but it's the implementation of the school safety officers. All campuses are trained in behavioral threat assessment, campus video cameras and monitoring systems, the metal detectors and wands. There's a front door buzz-in system, the visitor sign-in system, which is the Raptor system, which we're expanding on that as well this year. I think it's mentioned on the last bullet, but it is the silent panic alarm technology. And so we're adding that to the Raptor system. And then there's detection canines that are utilized throughout the school year. We have required monthly safety drills that are implemented. Student code of conduct outlines the offenses and consequences, and then our crisis management plan that Mr. Tanton and his staff work through and work with the campuses to implement. And I think that's it for violent incidents. So if you scroll down, Becky. That was the 0 reporting. Section 7. No, you're good. Section 7 is the student performance in post-secondary institutions. So TEA monitors our graduates that were enrolled in a college or university, and they report those numbers out and provide reports, which Becky has pulled. And if we're under 25, there's a note right there that if it's fewer than 25 graduates, reports aren't available. So Midland South did not have more than 25. They had 17 graduates, so they do not have a report, but the reports are provided in the next section, showing where our graduates are, as well as, showing where our graduates are as far as their enrollment and their performance in post-secondary education. And that's required to be a part of this public report as well. And if you scroll down, Becky, to the next section, this is the last section, and this is our progress towards meeting House Bill 3 goals, which are the goals we've set for college, career, and military readiness. And Dr. Gibbons was going to, or is going to, provide a little bit more information on this section, but there are the, scroll down, there are the different reports. No, a little bit more. You were going. There it is. So these are our report rates that Dr. Gibbons compiled. So Dr. Gibbons, if you'd like to go over those.
Sure, absolutely. This is the results of our CCMR efforts from last school year. So these are the 2022 school year results. And overall, we were at 50%. Our target last year was 27%. So we're exceeding our goals. Later on, I will be asking for the board to adjust the goals, because as you can see, we are definitely exceeding the goals that were set by the board in January of 21. For measure 1, which is completing college prep courses, last year we performed at 28%. And I want to put this out there because I know there's a little difference. You might say, well, in the taper, it's at 16% for 22. That's because CCMR is a year's lag. So these are the actual numbers from the students who were enrolled last school year. So these will affect our 23 accountability, okay? Because there's always a year's lag with the CCMR. And then the next report is measure 2. And this was industry-based certifications or completed an IEP with transition. And the goal was only 7%. We were at 27% as a district.
I think you're up. You need to go up down a page, Becky.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There it is.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. And then the next page, or the next section, we have the district. Again, how the district did. Again, we were at 50% for the district, and we have all of our, how each sub-pop performed. We have it broken out with your college students who receive credit through college prep courses and students who receive credit through career certifications. And then the next section has all 9 campuses and how they fared with HB3. And as you can see, Amarillo overall was 37% of their seniors received a CCMR credit. And I do need to put that on there. We're only talking about the graduates or the seniors. Corpus was at 52% of their seniors received a CCMR. Fort Worth was 55% of their seniors. Houston was 37%. Killeen was 54%. Lubbock was 35%. Midland was 42%. Odessa was 50%. And Pasadena was 90% of their seniors had a CCMR credit.
And that's a huge gain from previous years because of all the opportunities that Dr. Givens and her team have put in place for students to achieve those CCMR points.
I have a question.
And that will
Sorry.
impact us this year's accountability.
What caused Pasadena's numbers to be, is it just the amount of students that it has enrolled, but what caused it to be?
I would
That's
say,
assessment.
Miss Baker was a new principal and she just really embraced every opportunity there was to get those students their CCMR last year. In the spring, we started Texas College Bridge. We only focused last year on our seniors and and we had the OSHA, and she was just really like just dogged in making sure that every single one of her students participated in one of those CCMR opportunities.
That's very remarkable. Congratulations on that.
And we've concentrated, or Dr. Givens and Dr. Anderson have concentrated on the college career military readiness, because over the years we have increased our STAR achievement, and solely based on that, we would meet accountability and be much higher probably in prior years. But where we were lacking was the college career military readiness. So with all the work that's been put into this, accountability going forward should show quite a bit of the positive results.
And
Sure.
Jim, I'd be remiss to say Mr. Showers, because he's
Mr. Showers.
boots on the ground. So
And Mr. Showers is our CTE coordinator that's been with us for 2 years now, I think. So
Mhm.
doing
I've seen him in action. No, you guys have
Lot
done
of
an
work.
excellent job.
Yes.
Congratulations.
and that completes the reports, unless there's questions, but we did try to provide one sheet summary pages. I like those where we could, just so you can get an overall quick glance and understand where we're improving and where we're still deficient. So
I do have a question, and if you don't mind educating me a little bit on it, on the TEA changes, basically, with the stars. Well, first, I mean, do you guys have a goal in which you guys, a percentage goal that you want to raise it up to? And are there going to be, or any changes that you know of that are going to reflect from the TEA what the star is grading?
well, as far as STAR achievement, the way that they're going to calculate the passing rate. So for our overall rate for STAR, still in place for a regular district, the various levels, approaches, meets, and masters, the rate of passing for each one of those levels is added together and then divided by 3. And that gives us a raw score, which is then converted into a scale score with TEA. But for credit recovery and dropout schools such as ours, they're changing that this year. And so the students or approaches, that rate is multiplied by 1. The rate of students at the meets level is multiplied by 2. And then the rate of students at the master's level is multiplied by 3. And then all 3 of those rates are added together and divided by 3, which
Jim,
gives us.
can I interject, because I think we're getting technical. So to give you a easy answer, Ms. Pearson, they're giving us more. They're more consideration towards the type of students we serve.
Right.
So the fact that they're behind when they come to us, where we used to wouldn't get any kind of points or credits, and they would throw a bunch of bonus points at us at the end and say, oh, well, here's a few bonus points to help your score. They're now giving us, as Jim said, the multipliers and things of that nature. The weights of consideration for the types of kids we serve are more thoughtful and carries more weight.
Okay, no, that was it. I just wanted to make sure that there was a different weight for our students, but it's good to see that those changes are happening. Thank you.
And they understand. They talked quite a bit about graduates as well, because we were getting staged for different interventions, because our students weren't graduating in 4 years, but they're coming to us as a high school student, already 2 years behind their cohort.
Mhm.
So TA finally has that understanding, so they're helping us in that area as well.
Super.
Thank you, Mr. Fowler, Dr. Gibbons.
Thank
Okay,
you.
excellent. Excellent.
I have a question, a comment. This is a voluminous amount of work, and I appreciate Jim for the quality, the accuracy, and the consistency of his performance over the years.
Thank you very much.
Team effort, but thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Dr. Mr. Clemens, along those same lines, if you just give me a point of privilege, I would like to also congratulate the administration, the faculty, staff, and students on the performance that we just received from Mr. Polo.
Thank you.
Other comments? If you will stay with me now, I believe we will move down to Roman numeral 8, closed session pursuant to Government Code 551.704 to deliberate the evaluation process, compensation, and contract with the superintendent. Thank you. Will you coach us on this if we need any help on how to move forward into the executive session?
Yes, sir, I'm ready. The closed session breakout room is ready, so I will send the invitation now. Everybody should have an invitation to join closed session as far as board members and superintendent.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Nemick is listening in, but he's on his cell phone now, so I'm not be able to vote. But so we have a quorum of 4 and this motion carries. Now, I believe on our agenda, we were on Roman number 5, RMA student recognition, Carrie Green, Director of Marketing. Carrie, are you?
Yes, sir, I'm here. Good morning. I just want to say thank you to the Board of Trustees for allowing us this opportunity to present and recognize our students. This is something that we all look forward to every year, and we are very excited. And what we have done is we have a student at each campus that's going to be highlighted and focused on today. And we are going to start with the Amarillo campus. And I am going to turn my computer. I am in Amarillo this week, so I'm going to turn my computer and let them do this.
Hey, there's both of us on there. We can both get on the screen. Well, kind of, sort of. Maybe we gotta get a little closer.
Carrie,
Yes.
Carrie, can you remove the background for just a minute so that the students, we can see them clearly? Because we can only see one at this point.
1 second.
It's just me.
Okay.
They won't see me. They won't see me.
Kind of floating in and out.
Let me find that.
I'm sorry, Carrie.
Yeah, I'm trying to
No?
find.
Okay, okay.
Just, you want to lean in?
Yeah,
Please.
yeah.
That's all.
So
Scoot, scoot.
I'll introduce you and then I'll get out of the way and I'll let you kind of get where you're a little more visible.
Okay.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Brett Conrad. I am the ELA teacher here in Amarillo. And thanks for giving me some time today to present our student. This is Ashley Martinez, and she's done a wonderful job, not just in my class, but in her other classes, and she was nominated by our campus as one of our exemplary students, and we would like her to say a few words for you today. So I will turn it over to Ashley.
So I just want to say thank you for the opportunity from the board, and thank you for everything you do for the students. And I want to give a speech today. Richard Milburn has helped me in many ways. I came here at the beginning of the year and I was worried because before attending the school, I had missed the last 3 months at the school I was before, and I didn't want to be behind in school. When I got here, it made it very easy to catch up, and I even got ahead. The teachers here have always had a big impact on me as well. Every teacher here has done nothing but help and encourage me. The staff here have shown me that someone can believe in me, and I am very grateful to have a caring support system behind me. The school has given me the opportunity to grow and give me a good education. Thank you for everything the staff and teachers do in order for me to be successful.
We want to congratulate you on your success. And although Richard Milburn will always be here for you, we also know that you have also been there for us and represent us very well. And for that, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you both. Appreciate you. Okay, so now we are going to feature the Corpus campus, and Miss Hannah is next.
Okay, so Miss Carrie, I just got word that it seems that the student was not able to make it to school today.
Okay,
So I guess we will need to jump over to Fort Worth.
we can go to Fort Worth, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning. Can everyone hear us?
Yes.
Good morning, Board, Superintendent Anderson, staff, parents, and students. My name is Dr. Vicki McCoy, and I'm the DIC for the West Texas region. I'm here on the Fort Worth campus today with Ms. Brisa Silva, and we would like to introduce her to our staff because she has been one of our shining stars here on the Fort Worth campus. She's been with us for a year this month, and she's finished Oliver Texas College Bridge. And not only that, she's been able to maintain and then catch up on her credits since she's been here. She's been one of our best premier students. And ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Ms. Brisa.
Hi guys, good morning. My name is Brisa Silva, and first I would like to thank the Board of Trustees for this opportunity to be recognized and for their service to RMA. Before coming to RMA, I was falling behind on my studies because I had to work to help support my family. And at one point I was looking like I wouldn't be able to graduate because my 8-hour school days didn't allow enough time for me to work. So I often had to miss school, but fortunately, RMA has allowed me to both excel at school and work the hours I need to help out at home. And the teachers here at RMA care about me and all the kids really. They work with each of us as we need it. And if I want to jump ahead, that's okay. And if a kid needs to go slower, that's all right. The teachers are encouraging and so supportive, providing the help we all need. And before I came to RMA though, I had to sit around in a class waiting till others to finish their work so I could move on. But here at RMA, I'm able to work on my own pace and can even finish an Edgenuity class in a week's time by putting in extra hours at home. But I'm quickly moving toward graduation and will likely graduate ahead of my cohort. And I'm productive and very happy here with my family at RMA. But I would just like to thank you guys for your time and attention, and just thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you
Brisa.
so much.
We appreciate you.
Appreciate y'all so much.
Thank you, Board.
Thank you for being with us today.
Okay, next we're going to move on to Mr. Campbell, and he is located at our Houston campus. And Mr. Campbell is working on a piece for his doctorate that he is finishing. So Ms. King will be presenting in his stead today.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tina King. I'm a school counselor presenting on behalf of the principal, Patrick Campbell. And on today, I'm going to recognize senior Jolisa Cohen for her outstanding achievement in the dual credit program, as well as junior Trayvon Bryant for his outstanding work as the student council president. Hello, I'm Jolisa Cohen, and I would like to thank the Board of Trustees for this opportunity to be recognized and for their service to Ireland. Richard Mill Burn Academy has made a difference in my educational journey by increasing my knowledge and learning process. I became a student here immediately after graduating from intermediate school. I began with only 3 credits, and by the end of the 2021 and 2022 school term, I was classified as a junior. I was given the opportunity to excel my studies using the offer programs such as the Ingenuity courses, Canvas courses, and Texas College Brews. Although we are only given 4 hours a day, I'm able to pace and balance all assignments, and it has taught me time management. I call that excellent because not only does it teach me how to manage my time, it teaches me responsibility and mentally prepares me for life after high school. In June of this year, I will be a high school graduate at the age of 16 with not only my high school diploma, but with college level education, thanks to the dual credit program offered by Lone Star and RMA. In conclusion, I would like to thank Ms. King for providing me with all the courses I needed to reach my goal and for encouraging me to strive higher, and to all the teachers and staff of RMA. Thank you. Good morning.
Morning.
First, I would like to thank and acknowledge the Board of Trustees for this opportunity to be recognized and their services to RMA. Since I've been enrolled in Richard Milburn Academy, my teachers have made me strive for excellence. And because of that, it has made me motivated to become a better citizen, student, and most of all, a better person. RMA inspired me to have an idea to start a student council organization, which has made me want to handle my responsibilities in a better way and develop better leadership skills and become a better role model for my peers here at RMA. Once you obtain the things that you get once you attend RMA, like before I came to RMA, I didn't have certain characteristics such as joy, growth, grit, integrity, and most of all, empowerment. RMA taught me not only to know those words, but to live by those words. Thank you.
Brian, come back.
Brian.
No, I want to congratulate you and Jolisa very much for the leadership roles that you have taken within your school. And it's pretty remarkable to see that you guys started a student council there. That is something that kind of leadership is really what we need to shine, not only within RMA, but within our community as well. So I hope that this is only the beginning of your leadership and that you move forward into city government and whatever it might be that will lead you to create better leaders and to just, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, next we're going to feature Mr. Smith, our principal that is located in our Killeen campus.
Hello. I'm Derek Smith, principal here at the Killeen campus, and today I'll be recognizing our senior Joseph Garcia for his stellar achievement on the U.S. History Star. He mastered the STAR test this past December. Joseph.
Hello, I'm Joseph Garcia, and I would like to thank the Board of Trustees for this opportunity to be recognized for their service to RMA. The reason RMA was a solution for me is because of smaller class size and the accelerated learning program that gave me the ability to catch up to my graduating class. I love that I get to work at my own pace as well as have a connection with our staff who are all very supportive. Our campus has changed a lot in this year, and has been a very positive change. I appreciate my experience here at RMA. It has prepared me for the next phase in my life at Central Texas Community College. Thanks again for this opportunity.
And next we will feature Ms. White, who is the principal, and she is at our Lubbock campus.
Good morning, board. Hi, my name is Tiffany White, and I'm the principal of the RMA in Lubbock, where we are the proud Lubbock Lions. Today, I bring to you some of our stellar students who are a part of our first group of cohort students who are working doing their dual credit with South Plains College. I'm so proud of these young ladies, and I can't wait for you to hear their stories. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Charisma Torres, and I'd like to thank the Board of Trustees for this opportunity to be recognized and their service to RMA. Since enrolling into RMA, I've really grown to be a better student and person. At RMA, the staff and the teachers are very attentive, and they're always prepared to help me with whatever I need. Here at RMA, I've gotten multiple opportunities, and I've also grown the confidence to take them on. At RMA, they've really showed me the importance of life after high school and my future.
Hello, I'm Trinity Phillips, and I would like to thank the Board of Trustees for this opportunity to be recognized and for their service to RMA. The reason RMA was a solution for me is because the classes are smaller and some are self-paced. Also, the teachers are really kind and willing to listen to my ideas.
Hello, I'm Mariah Hernandez, and I'd like to thank the Board of Trustees for this opportunity to be recognized and for their service to RMA. RMA has impacted my life because the teachers and the principal, Ms. Wright, has encouraged me by showing me they care. And because in spring break 2020, COVID happened, and I wasn't able to go back to school. But I came back last semester in November, and since then they haven't gave up on encouraging me to graduate and gave me the opportunity to take dual credit to go to college.
Hello, I'm Isabel Garcia, and I would like to thank the Board of Trustees for this opportunity to be recognized and for their service to RMA. RMA has made a difference in my education by supporting me with not only my ideas, but with my education in general. The student to teacher ratio is absolutely amazing, and without it, I would not have been able to get as far as I did. I thank you guys for everything, and I am just so very grateful for everything. Thank you.
That's from RMA Lubbock. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, board.
Okay, next we will be featuring our Midland campus with Miss Copeland will be presenting today, our student at that campus.
Hi, good morning, everyone, school board and everyone attending. My name is Michelle Copeland, and I'm stepping in for RMA Midland. I'm a teacher here on campus. I am proud to present our student, Sam Ortega. Sam came to us 4 years ago and had been through some really difficult things in his life. We have seen him grow tremendously to the point where he has passed all his STAR tests. He's passed both his TSIs. He is currently in the running for our valedictorian. We're just super proud of him, and so glad that he is one of our students. So I'm going to turn it over to Sam. Do that first.
Hello, I'm Sam Ortega, and I would like to thank the Board of Trustees for this opportunity to be recognized and for their service to RMA. It was a solution for me because I received the support that I did not receive elsewhere, and that allowed me to grow my education.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
I have a question for Sam. Sam, is this the only high school that you have attended?
No.
Okay, but you've been with us. Okay, thank you.
Okay, next we will be featuring our Odessa campus, and that is with the principal, Mr. Moreno, and he will be featuring our student there.
You're muted, Mr. Moreno. You're muted. No.
My apologies, my apologies. Again, I'm Mr. Moreno. I'm the principal of RMA Odessa. Today, I'm recognizing Senior Christopher Urias for his stellar achievement on the Math and English TCB and being the CTE Architect Student of Term 2. Christopher took advantage of accelerated learning offered at RMA and will be a junior 2023 graduate. Christopher.
Thank you, Mr. Moreno. Hello, I'm Christopher Urias, and I would like to thank the Board of Trustees for this opportunity to be recognized and for their service to RMA. Since enrolling in RMA, I have gained so many new experiences that I thought I would never have. I joined the Criminal Justice Club, made new friends, and RMA has given me the opportunity to graduate a year early, giving me time to perfect my mind and make it my goal to be the first to graduate from college in my family. This is why I chose RMA. Thank you, Mr. Moreno, and thank you, RMA School Board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and then last but definitely not least is our Pasadena campus, who is under Principal Baker. She is working on a doctoral assignment today as well. And so they will be presented by Ms. Goddard, who is a stellar counselor that we have there.
Hi, Monica Godwin. I'm the counselor at Pasadena RMA, and I would like to present Kevin Canales for his strong work ethic and community spirit, demonstrated through his academic excellence and service to the RMA community. And also Sergio Hernandez, who is the AAVTC CT student of Term 2.
Hi, I'm Kevin Canales, and I'd like to thank the Board of Trustees for this opportunity to be recognized and for their service to RMA. And since ever since I enrolled into RMA, it's been easier to do my work, since sometimes I do it's accelerated, so I don't have to wait on others. And it's easier to talk to the teachers here and make friends. And if I ever have any questions, I could just talk to any of them. And I also get the opportunity to help out people, which I like to help out people. So if I ever get the opportunity to help them out, I like to go out and out of my way, even if I have to do something else.
Hi, my name is Sergio Hernandez, and I would like to thank the Board of Trustees for this opportunity to be recognized. Richard Milburn Academy has been a great school and the greatest second chance I could possibly have. It has definitely helped me a lot to improve my grades and figure out what I want to do after school and to get my life together. It has definitely been a great environment, especially with great teachers, great counselors, great principals, and it has been a great school. And I hope anyone else can, I hope people can grow being in the school. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And it's students like you who make my job so enjoyable. Thank you so much.
This concludes our student recognition portion of the board meeting. And again, I would just like to thank the Board of Trustees for all of their countless hours and everything that they do for students and staff. It is greatly appreciated.
Thank you, Carrie. Great presentation. I believe we're back on our agenda action items, Roman number 6. Dr. Anderson.
Well, good morning to the board and to all those in attendance. We would like to ask the board at this time to approve and ratify the district contracts. It was brought, TEA about a year ago realized that charters, traditional ISDs, they have to take every contract to the board for approval, even if it's for a penny. Charters for years were not doing that. And so Joe Hoffer one of our school attorneys brought it up at a regional advisory committee meeting at the service center, Region 20 Service Center. And so what happens is oftentimes I will have to go ahead and sign a contract. It may be for $500, but I have to sign it so that it doesn't delay the operations of the district. However, by rule, by the TA rule, we have to bring all contracts to the board. So this will become a part of our board meetings moving forward. Some of the contracts I will have signed, if it's a contract that's close to a board meeting and it can wait, like some of our graduation contracts for some of the graduation venues, we'll bring them to the board. So you'll notice that some are signed, some have not been signed, but they're all within my wheelhouse of authority given to me by the board to sign. They're under the $49,000 price range. However, it still is required that they be brought to the board. And so at this time, we don't want to go through each one of these contracts one by one. So we usually will just put them all, list them all there, and ask for the board to take action to go ahead and approve the presented contracts. And they're for different things. Some will be for software, some will be for student incentives, some may be for graduation venues. As you can see, there's a plethora of different types of contracts that we have. If there's any questions that the board may have about any particular contract, please feel free to ask. If not, at this time, we ask that you would approve the current contracts that have been signed or those that are waiting to be signed.
Dr. Anderson?
Yes.
And just to make sure I didn't confuse anybody, the one that would need the board's approval would be the graduation venue for Pasadena? Was the one contract that we were bringing before the board for approval?
Yes, that's the
Okay.
current one that has not been signed by me because it was
Yes,
so
sir.
close to the board meeting.
We have a motion.
I move that the board authorize signature of the superintendent of the above contracts that have been mentioned in this board meeting.
Second.
Is that the motion on the, you want me to read, Dr. Anderson?
Yes, yes, we approve and ratify the list of contracts, yes.
Okay, I move that the board approve the contract.
Second.
You're breaking on Mr. Clemens.
Robert Clemens, I second the motion.
Okay, board approve the ratified contracts.
Oh, Ms. Thompson,
Rose Thompson, yes.
Ms. Pearson,
Yes.
Francis White, yes.
Dr. White,
Yes.
motion, Robert Clemens, yes, motion carries. Approval to submit non-expansion amendment, Dr. Anderson, is still you.
Okay. Back in 2017, and many of Ms. Thompson, you and Dr. White would remember this, when the RMA board approved for a second campus in Midland to be open, there was the Midland North campus, and they were the district was going to open up a second campus that would serve the juvenile detention, work with the juvenile detention centers. And so there was a need to have a separation in name of the North campus and the South campus. However, since that time, the quote unquote North campus closed, and we've just been operating with the Midland South campus. But now that we're going to close the Midland South campus and relocate it to a new facility, which is the Alamo Heights Baptist Church facility, we're asking the board to allow us to submit to TA a request to do away with the North and South and just have the Midland campus, since there is not two campuses in Midland anymore. So it would just be RMA Midland. So we're basically asking to change the name from Midland South to just RMA Midland. Are there any questions about that?
We have a motion.
I'll make the motion, Mr. Clemens. I move the approval of the name change for the Midland campus and the approval for the superintendent or his designate to submit the form on required as required to the Texas Education Agency.
Do we have a second?
Rose Thompson, second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, Ms. Thompson,
Yes.
Ms. Pearson,
Yes.
Dr. White,
Yes,
Robert Clemens, yes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Are we still with Dr. Anderson? Do you have any others?
No, that's Dr. Givens is next.
You did-
Dr. Anderson?
Okay, you didn't cover,
Oh. Go ahead.
you didn't have B?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Sir,
We-
along with the non-expansion amendment, we'd need to submit a resolution as well as required by TEA.
I'm sorry. Yes, the resolution. And so as Becky, I'll let you talk about that, Becky, if you would, please.
Uh-oh, I wish I hadn't said anything. Okay, no. So just as required by the Texas Education Agency, of course, there's certain documents that they require whenever we're going to request any type of changes to the charter. And so along with the non-expansion amendment request would be a resolution where the board is in agreement to change the name, in this case, from Midland South to Midland. So I guess like the main portions that we did editing on basically was this paragraph here. Again, just stating that we're no longer operating two campuses, and so there's no need to make a distinction between campuses. And that's really the main point of our request to TEA, is to change the name of the campus of Midland. And so if the board is in favor of doing that, then we'll submit the non-expansion request form along with this board resolution to TEA.
We have a motion.
Rose Thompson, I move the approval of the board resolution authority to name change for the Midland campus and designate the superintendent or the designee to submit the resolution as required by TEA.
Have a second?
Francis White, second.
Okay, we have a vote, Ms. Thompson,
Yes.
Ms. Pearson,
Yes.
Dr. White,
Yes,
Robert Clemens, yes. AD, adoption of new House Bill 3 school board goals. Dr. Givens, are you available? Dr. Givens?
It seems like she may be having a little technical difficulty, so she's logging back in. Dr. Givens, are you with us now?
Yes, I'm so sorry. My computer just completely froze, so I'm on my phone. So can you all hear me and everything?
Yes.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. I apologize. I'm sorry. Okay, what we're proposing, what we're asking the board to do, I'm trying to get my phone to stay still. All right. Is we're asking the board to adopt the new HB3 goals. Originally, the HB3 goals were adopted in January of 2021. But starting last year, we got very aggressive with our CCMR initiatives, and we feel that the goals need to be revised. So what we're asking is that for the school year 2025, CCMR board outcome goals, the overall goals would increase from a 34, which is the current goal, to a 65. We're asking that progress measure 1 goal would increase from 3%, that's college preparatory courses, to 45% of seniors would have that. And that measure 2 goal would increase from 13% to 45%. Okay, and so I have the, if you go to the next slide, thank you. These are the overall goals that the board adopted for 2025. The green is where we actually performed in 2022. We actually had 50% of all of our seniors meet the CMR goal overall, which is already exceeding the board goal that was adopted in 21. So we're just saying because of our efforts, we just want the goals to be increased, to be more reflective of the efforts that we're doing. Okay. So next year's goal, or for this year, for 23, the goal is 55% of all seniors will have a CCMR credit. 60% of all of our seniors will have a CCMR credit, and in 25, 65% of our seniors will have that. And then if you go to progress measure 1, last year, 28% of our seniors had a college prep course. Again, the goal was only 0, so we definitely exceeded the goal. And so we just feel that the previous goals are just way too low, and that we wanted to adjust them to more reflect how we're performing and to have something to really excel and try to strive to get. Okay, and then the last one is the measure 2, which is the industry-based certification. The district in 21 adopted just the 7% of seniors would have that. Last year, 27% of our seniors had a industry-based certification credit with CCMR credit. So again, we're just trying to be more aggressive just to reflect the efforts that we're doing. So we're just asking the board to adopt the new, more rigorous goals.
All of this is reflected in our strategic plan, correct?
Yes, it'll be reflected in the new one that we're going to be creating. Yes.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We have a motion.
I move that the board adopt the updated HB3 board goals as presented.
Francis White,
Ms. Pearson, do we have a second?
Francis White, second.
Second from Dr. White. Ms. Thompson,
Yes.
Ms. Pearson,
Yes.
Robert Clemens, yes. Carries.
Yes.
Carl, looks like you have the next 4 items. Want to cover the first one, combining wage rates?
Good afternoon, board. So the next 3 items that we're going to be looking at are going to be some housekeeping items related to an ESSER 2 and ESSER 3 project that we are currently putting out to bid. These projects consist of some air conditioner work at almost all of our campuses. I think there might be 1 or 2 that are not receiving some work. The Midland one, because we're moving into a new building, and the Fort Worth one because is getting some minimal work because we're planning to move into a new building there as well. And so our attorney has advised us that this project is a federal project, therefore it requires some additional requirements or some specific requirements, which these next 3 items will address. The first one that we're looking at is the let's see, you want to go back up to the okay, so this item is to consider possible action to adopt the required prevailing wage rate schedules for relevant locations where construction work may be performed in connection with the RMA construction projects authorized by the board during the district's current fiscal year through the 23-24 school year. And these prevailing wage weights are set by the local county, and RMA will be adopting those for each of our projects. Each contractor that bids on the projects will be required to use the prevailing wage rates for their workers. So with that, I would ask that the board approve the prevailing wage weights and use the suggested motion to do so.
Robert Clemens, I so move. Do we have a second?
Francis White, I'll second.
Vote, Mrs. Thompson,
Yes.
Ms. Pearson, Ms. Pearson,
Yes. Oh, no, yes. Sorry, I thought I was on mute.
Dr. White,
Yes.
Robert Clemens, yes. Carl, carry on.
So the next item that we have on page 702 is to consider and possible action to select the delivery method of construction for the HVAC project. And the selection method is the competitive sealed proposal, where the contractors would be required to drop off their bids in a sealed manner. And then we would evaluate those bids based on a metric that is provided by the attorney for evaluating those projects. So I would ask that the board approve the competitive sealed proposal method of bidding and use the suggested motion to do so.
We have a motion.
Francis White, I'll make the motion. I move that the board select the competitive sealed proposed CSP construction delivery method as provided by Texas Government Code Chapter 2269, Subchapter D for the HVAC project.
Okay, and then on page,
Robert Clemens, I say,
sorry,
are you? We vote, Ms. Thompson,
Yes.
Ms. Pearson,
Yes.
Dr. White,
Yes.
Robert Clemens, yes. Motion carries. Carl, you down to
page
G?
Yes, G on page 788, where we will consider and the possible action to delegate authority to the superintendent and or his designee, the selection and ranking of a contractor for the HVAC project, including possible delegation of authority to the superintendent or his designee to negotiate, finalize, and execute an agreement in form approved by legal counsel. And our attorneys at Walsh Anderson will be walking us through this project or this part of the project. And so with that, I'm asking the board to approve that we can go ahead and negotiate with the contractor or with a contractor and bring it back to the board at the next meeting.
I have a question before we move on to that one. And just out of curiosity, this is just to kind of expedite decision-making on it versus us having to select or wait until our next meeting, which.
Yes, that's correct. So we've gone out to advertise, advertisements went out on the 15th of February. Plans were made available to the contractors today. They're planning to do site visits on the 22nd of February. Then there would be a section where they could ask questions, which takes us up through March 10th. And then the bids are due on March 15th. So we're trying to line everything up so we can come back to the board at our next meeting and have everything tidied up so that we can begin construction during the summer while kids are out of school.
Thank you very much for thinking ahead.
Carl, I think we had some discussions earlier, but did you sort of touch on what locations are we covering with this? Are these our locations or lease locations or all locations? Or?
So there'll be some extensive work done at the locations that we own. And at the locations that we rent, there is some minor work being done where we would add some UV filtering and some additional HEPA filters to those units. It would not be quite as extensive. And at the campuses that we're planning to relocate within the next couple of years, the work would be minimal.
And so how long do we have to spend these funds, Carl, from ESSER? It expires at the end of next year, correct?
So the goal is to be finished with this project by November the 1st of this year. However, that can be extended through the fall of 24 if need be.
Because this is that grant money that we got for COVID, so that we're spending.
And one reason we kind of put this off is we had like a very difficult time during the Midland project with the inflation going up, the logistics and supplies being short and long lead times on materials. So by putting this off, we are getting a lot more. I've been keeping up with it today as the plans go out, and we are getting a lot more action or interest from the contracting community this go round. So I think it was well worth it to put it off just a little bit.
Carl, another curiosity question. Is this going to be a good solution for Lubbock? I remember spending time in Lubbock. I had up above the ceiling tiles looking around and listening to people tell stories about what happened when they flip switches from thermostats.
Yes, we've done a bit of work in Lubbock, but this will actually go a long way to stabilize the HVAC systems at all of our schools. And if you look at our maintenance and operations budget for every year, HVAC units are usually the most expensive things that we deal with. So this will buy us quite a bit of time into the future using these ESSER funds instead of our 420 funds. So we're very fortunate in that manner. So I think it's going to be good for us going forward.
And do we have a motion on G, selection of a series of HVAC actions?
Proposed motion, I move the board delegate authority to the superintendent or his designee to rank and select a proposal of possible contractors for the HVAC project, and further authorize the superintendent or his designee to negotiate with the top ranked contractors for the project and go on to the next rank as needed until a contract is reached or all proposals are rejected, and further authorize the superintendent to execute a contract in a form approved by legal counsel.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Francis White, I'll second.
Have a vote. Ms. Thompson,
Yes.
Ms. Pearson,
Yes.
Dr. White,
Yes.
Robert Clemens, yes. Carl, last item on the.
And the last item is to approve to dispose of unserviceable equipment throughout the district. Any furniture equipment which has been purchased by the state requires that we go through this process. The list is kind of lengthy this year because we did not, during the COVID season, were able to take the inventories that we needed to, or dispose of the items as we should. So we're playing catch up this year. So this is our list of items that we're either recycling or disposing of.
We have a motion on this.
Rose Thompson, I move the board approve the disposal of items presented for each campus, which are no longer serviceable or needed.
Francis White, I'll second, Ms. Clemens.
Second. We have a motion second. Call for a vote. Mrs. Thompson,
Yes.
Ms. Pearson,
Yes.
Francis White, yes.
Dr. White,
Yes.
Robert Clemens, yes. Motion carries.
Thank you, Board.
April, RMA Personnel Handbook for the school year. You have a report on that?
Good afternoon. We have recently received a handbook update from TPCSA. They worked with the Shulman Lopez, Hoffer, and Adelstein law firm, which is also one of the attorneys that we use to make some changes, recommend some updates. Some of the things that we just kind of updated based on recommendations are going to be the local personal leave. We will now be carrying over up to 3 days per year. This is not billed, it does not stack, it's 3 days period. We have updated our excessive absence policy that will allow us to separate employees that miss an excessive amount of days. Currently, we're setting that days at 10. These are going to be number of days past any personal leave available, and it is not going to include any days that are attributed to doctor's appointments or family doctor's appointments. We're gonna look at it as like an excused, unexcused absence type of situation. We have updated our bereavement leave policy to include 5 days for immediate family and 3 days for our secondary family piece. And then we have updated our jury duty so that basically any days that you are going to be out for jury duty, you'll be paid for. This was changed to include staff that may be sequestered or things like that, so they don't have to worry about not having any sort of compensation during that time. The separation is going to be that if you are in a court appearance of your own accord, it doesn't have anything to do with jury duty or a outside subpoena, things like that, then you will have to take personal leave for that. Or in other words, if you are dealing in a court case of your own, you will have to take personal leave for any time you spend in court for that. And then lastly, there are a couple of new sections. These new sections are recommendations by TPCSA and the law firm. It's a Fair Credit Reporting Act, pre and post offer medical testing, special rules for social studies courses, a textbook and material acquisition, voting leave. I do want to make a point on the voting leave. We have always honored voting leave. We do have it in our board policy manual, and in recommendation of TPCSA, we have also carried that into our personal handbook. As far as wages go, we've added a section for lost or stolen paychecks, unclaimed payroll checks, and authorized check pickup. And then lastly, our immigration law compliance. Does anybody have questions? I know that was a lot of information.
Ms. Thompson, I believe you and Mr. Nemick worked on this.
I'm so sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
Mrs. Thompson, you're on mute. I was asking her, did she work with you on this revision? Mrs. Thompson, Mr. Nemick?
Yes.
Yes, I thought I saw the request. If you want to act on this, you want to make a motion to approve this.
Rose Thompson, I move the adoption of the updated 2023 RMA personnel handbook.
Francis White, I'll second if it's okay with Mr. Clement.
We have a motion second.
I second.
Call for the vote. Call for the vote. Ms. Thompson,
Yes.
Ms. Pearson,
Yes.
Dr. White,
Yes.
Robert Clemens, yes. Approval of request to change the date of the April board meeting. Dr.
All right. We are requesting to change the April 21st meeting date to April 14th. As you all are aware, we are planning to host our district strategic plan session prior to the board meeting on the 14th. And so we are asking, as you can see, the tentative schedule below. We sent a survey out that asked whether we should host it, your preference of hosting it in San Antonio or Houston. Of course, you all threw it back at me. And so we still hadn't decided where we're going to host it at. And so Becky and I were looking at cost and everything. And so we'll have a definite place, whether it be San Antonio or Houston shortly. Of course, any feedback would help if the board would give us their top preference. It would make a world of difference so that we can host it somewhere that you all would appreciate, in either Houston or San Antonio. The thought was in Houston that you all could see the two campuses, the Pasadena campus and the Houston campus. However, when we logistically worked everything out, it would require you all to either come in late Tuesday or early Wednesday. So this may not be the opportune time to host it in Houston. If it's a burden or an inconvenience to you all in your schedules, we will just host it in San Antonio. If you have a definite opinion, please share it with Becky or a preference. It would make it a lot easier on us instead of having to decide. I know some board members have not seen, the RMA campuses, other campuses other than the local ones. So we just wanted to extend that opportunity. But if you all would rather we delay visiting the campuses, then we would prefer to host it here in San Antonio. So, but we are asking the board to approve moving the meeting from the 21st to the 14th. And that way we can have our district strategic plan workshop on Thursday, April 13th with Ms. Hughes. And she will lead us through our next 3-year strategic plan as 2023 wraps up the current strategic plan that we're in, and which we'll be presenting in April, an update on the strategic plan, the current plan that we're working on that ends in 2023. So if the board would, okay, I see Ms. Pearson says, I like the idea of the board retreat in Houston. Thank you, Ms. Pearson. And so that would allow us to have the strategic planning session in concurrent with the board meeting on the 14th. Any questions?
Dr. Anderson, my choice would be Houston as well.
Okay, so we have Ms. Pearson, we have Dr. White.
I'll move off this center. I like you.
You approve of Houston too? Okay, Mr. Clemens. So that settles it. We appreciate you all making the decision. And everyone's okay coming in either early Wednesday or late Tuesday so that we can get you to the campus on.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Then we ask at this time that the board approve the changing of the board meeting date.
Should I make a motion?
Robert Clemens, I move the approval to change the date of the April board meeting to April 14th and the retreat meetings to the previous days, April 12th, 13th. Have a second?
Francis White, second.
We have a motion, second. We approve the change to board date. A vote. Ms. Thompson.
Yes.
Ms. Pierce.
Yes.
Dr. White.
Francis White,
Dr.
yes.
White.
Yes.
Robert
Yes.
Clemens. Motion carries.
Thank you. We look forward to seeing you all in April in Houston. So thank you.
Dr. Anderson, information
Yes.
items? Your report.
All right. Well, the district update as far as where we are, several things. Before I start, let me just ask for the thoughts and prayers of our colleague, Liz Roberts. Her mother passed on Valentine's Day. And so I have extended the opportunity for those of us here in San Antonio at the central office to attend the service on the 21st from 10 to 11 o'clock. So please keep her in your thoughts and prayers, her and her family in your thoughts and prayers. The updated superintendent report. This is the time where we start to see a drop. We start to see a drop in our retention numbers. We start to see a little drop in our enrollment numbers. Starting around January, February. But we're holding steady for the most part. As of February the 7th, in order to get this information to you in a timely manner in the board book, we took a picture of the February 7th number of enrollment at 1649. Which is a slight drop from this from where we were at the previous board meeting of 1712. So in the SOS systems, we have 34 students that are pending parent completing the application, 21 kids pending the registrar getting them in classes as far as getting a schedule and a start date, 134 kids. And so the total projected enrollment once we get the students in out of the SOS system would be 1,854 students. RMA has had 945 new students enrolled for the 2022-23 school year, meaning that they've never been students at RMA, and we had 945 new students throughout the course of this year, which lets me know that our marketing is working, our commercials and everything as far as getting students in. Again, retention is the issue that we've been addressing, and I had a conversation with our principals on the principal meeting Tuesday, trying to be creative and unique in how we make sure that we keep our students in the seats and coming to school, doing all that we can to help them resource-wise, whether it be bus passes, whether it be getting them, helping them find assistance for rent or utilities or whatever we can do to help the families keep stability. And if we can do that, we think it will stabilize the amount of kids leaving. Also, in Corpus, our biggest push, and I've been having conversations with Dr. Gibbons and Mr. Showers about enhancing the access to the CTE programs, because I believe that if the more programs we have available to our students, the more likely we can get them in those programs, and that'll retain them because they enjoy it. I know that it's working wonders in Corpus for us, having those students in the phlebotomy and EKG programs with Del Mar College. And it's those students are sticking with us. And so we want to continue to increase student participation in those CTE programs as a way to help increase our retention numbers. ADA is at 76.7%. Slightly down from the 78.6 reported at the last board meeting, and we're continuing to work on that as well. But the biggest thing, as I said before, retention is at 65.9%, which is down from 83. And so that's a huge alarming number. And so that's one of those issues that, again, we are trying to address, and, incentives and things of that nature, feeding the kids, whatever we can to continue to keep our retention numbers higher than where they are. But again, just by nature, throughout the history of RMA, we've always seen this point be a very fragile part, but we're trying to come up with some strategies that will help us address the retention issues. Again, as Tammy will present in her pre-recorded report, the district, we built our budget on 1443 with a 74% ADA, which we're higher than the 74%. So that helps balance things out, and we just continue to monitor. With the ESSER funds, it's been a blessing because we're able to roll a lot of our academic costs and instructional costs over to ESSER, which helps take a lot of the burden off of the 420 budget. So it allows us to kind of have some flexibility there. And so we're continuing to monitor closely each week and each month the financials to make sure, having conversations with Tammy and on a consistent basis, and monitoring all the projects that we have going. We are being very diligent in the way that we appropriate funds as far as as the 420 budget goes with the academics, making sure we roll as much stuff over as we can in there, you know, and the retention bonuses, again, we are going to do those for next year. Jim and I and Dr. Gibbons have already had conversations regarding that, being able to offer the retention bonuses and the new hire bonuses again. Also, it's my intention, Tammy, we will be bringing to the board next month a 3% across the board raise for the district. So we will be doing that as well. Another thing that we're closely monitoring is, you know, the state legislators are most likely going to raise teacher salaries statewide. Some have said as much as 15,000. Some I predict that it'll fall somewhere between 7 and 10. And so we'll have to address that as well. And so Tammy and I will be having discussions there as well. And we will have more information regarding that in April. Of course, you know, we have to wait till the legislative body does what they're going to do. I did recently hear that they're putting $8.8 billion into public education. We're also monitoring the school choice vouchers, which are going to be a hot contested issue in the legislative body this year. You know, it probably has momentum. If you listen to Greg Abbott on the other day, it was one of his 7 emergency priorities was to pass school vouchers for school choice. And so we're monitoring that as well. So there's a lot of things that may shake up some things. And so we'll keep the board abreast of that. But as far as ESSER II monies go, which is for professional development of our campus principals and teachers and for staffing our distance teachers and HVAC replacements, we had 1.6 million. We have spent 775,000, which leaves us a balance of $895,000 in ESSER II monies. Again, ESSER III monies, which was for summer school, professional learning for campus principals and teachers as well, and our student and staff, student and parent engagements, and student computers and things of that nature. We had 3.7 million. We've spent 1.1 million, and our remaining balance is 2.6 million. Vacant positions, as you may know, Ms. Sanders, our Fort Worth principal, did decide to resign. And so we are interviewing candidates for the Fort Worth campus. Amarillo continues to give us a fit, but we are looking for candidates. It's been tough finding qualified candidates that meet what we need at that campus for leadership. And so if you look there, we have 4 campuses at 100% staffing, 4 at 90%, 1 at 80%, and 1 campus at 70%. And so as you can see, we have an opening for 1 SPED teacher, 2 associate teachers, and then 2 principals at the campus, and then 6 teachers as far as core or elective across the district, in which, you know, with the teacher shortage has been a challenge to find. And so we are working to fill those. And Christina, did you have anything you'd like to add to that report?
No, not at this time.
Okay.
I have a question. So I looked at this and I was curious. Actually, what stood out to me was Odessa. Can you kind of give me an insight what's going on in Odessa?
Okay. Mr. Morano, are you on?
Yes, sir.
Did you want to talk to Ms. Pearson's question?
Well, we did hire a math teacher that started February the 5th, I believe, was her first day. I'm having trouble competing with the school district. Most of the teachers that I am finding are not accepting the job because it's $15,000+ of a pay cut for them to come. So that's the issue. We did attend the School of Education job fair Wednesday at UTPB. Hopefully we can get some candidates there.
Okay, so just kind of bring me back a little bit more. Like, I mean, kind of just draw the picture for me. What happened? You guys started with maybe 1 vacancy, and then it dropped to 4, having to fill 4 vacancies. within 2 months, basically. And then, and it makes sense why you would have the 3 year kind of filling it. But what happened between September and November?
Well, I was not here. I know there was an issue with some teachers here with Miss Jansen. When I got here, there was 4 vacancies and I filled the 1 spot as we speak. So I've got 3 left.
And so these are all just teachers, or is it staff? And what exactly is it?
No, ma'am, it is, I've got a US history position open. I've got a math teacher position open, and I believe I've got a ESL position.
And some of these, Christina, do you want to talk about how long some of these have been, what happened there with some of the staff as far before Mr. Moreno's time?
So from my understanding, the continued vacancies that were already there when Mr. Moreno came onto campus as the principal, it looks like 2 of them were from staff who moved to another district, reportedly in their file for the money. And then we had another one that resigned without leaving any sort of notice or issue. So I don't have any other information other than kind of the standard problem that we have in the Odessa Midland area is that the school district can greatly outpay the staff that we have.
And Ms. Pearson, Midland Odessa is very, very competitive because there is a huge teacher shortage in that area. And
Right,
so,
but Midland has what I'm seeing basically, because it's the one that stood out to me, because even Midland is, well, it makes sense. You start off with 2, you got 1 filled, and then now you're down to 0, vacancies. You took the issue was taken care of. But the Odessa one just kind of really sticks out because it's a 2-month, within 2 months, you dropped off to needing 3 more employees and down to just needing 1 more. And remind me again, where was the issue on the ESL teacher that we had from the beginning of the school year?
that's been addressed.
Okay, but it wasn't Odessa, was it?
It was in the Odessa area. However, these vacancies are not related to that.
Okay.
Any other questions about the vacancies?
Not about the vacancies, Dr. Ansel, and just one question. Are we competitive with ISDs in terms of our pay scale?
No. And that's been the biggest caveat. And I shared with the team the other week that, when I first got here, Dr. White, Christina and I worked together to get RMA within 7% of district salaries. But as the teacher shortage has come, most districts are paying upward to $60,000 for teacher salaries. And so we're trying to, without putting a huge strain, because our salaries for teachers, make up a large amount of the budget. And so when we do give when we do raise it, the thing is, can the district sustain it long term? And so we've been very diligent in that, and that's why we're going to try and do a 3%. But depending on what the state says and how that works, that'll drive a lot of this conversation moving forward. But now, will we ever be able to compete neck to neck with the ISD? No, I don't know a charter school out there that is able to do so. Do you, Mr. Clemens?
No, it's very difficult. And in the ISD world, in our locality, we have a $10,000 variance just within 1 county of beginning salary. One district starts beginning salary of $41,000, the other starts $51,000.
Yeah.
Common all right now.
Say again.
It's common around the state, as is usually the case. The rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer.
Yeah. And that's been the biggest struggle. And then the other thing that hurts us is that we pay into TRS and Social Security. A lifelong teacher that has never paid into Social Security could care less about Social Security because there is no benefit to them. You know, now a person that comes retired, you know, or something that's paid into Social Security, that may very well, you know, play into their favor. But, you know, a lot of teachers, you know, they may pay into TRS $300, but then they got to turn around into Social Security and pay another $300, whereas in a district, they wouldn't be out of that extra $300. So yeah, I see someone saying the Social Security hurts us greatly. It's almost $500 to $1,000 a month, which someone's putting in the chat, which is very true. Whereas in ISD, you don't have that. So we've got a lot of stuff going here that, and then unfortunately, when the district had an opportunity to get out of Social Security, they opted to stay in it, and that was their one and done time. That was the second opportunity to get out, and they decided to stay in it. And so, you know, we have to overcome that as well. And based on, you know, the enrollment numbers, it makes it very difficult to say, okay, let's sustain, you know, a $60,000 teacher salary for a charter. Now, if we go to enrollment-based attendance, Dr. White, that changes the game tremendously. And that's what Ms. Thompson was talking about. And in fact, I had a conversation with a former legislator this morning about that, and asking him to kind of get in the ears of the appropriation committee to you know, push this. But I don't know how much, you know, how far it'll go, but it would make a world of difference for charters, you know, as well as ISDs. So there's, you know, and I don't know what the state's going to give us to help, you know, compensate for this new teacher raise. I mean, so right now we just don't have an answer, but in April, I hope to be able to bring to the board more definitive answers and suggestions. Does that answer your question, Dr. White?
Yes, sir, it does. Yes, sir.
Any other questions about? Then the teacher experience and certification status, again, 65%. I continue to say that that's very good for a charter to have 65% certified. You know, the ISDs like to tout to parents and families, oh, charter schools don't require teachers to be certified. Well, we can honestly say that, you know, 2/3 of our staff is certified, which is very impressive. And as you can see, the average teacher experience is district-wide is 8 years, which is a good, you know, that's a veteran teacher at that point. And so we're glad to have those numbers as far as our certifications go. And we continue to look for certified teachers, and we continue to comb through and try. And that's an accolade to our principals and the work that they do at the campus level as they screen the teachers and the staff that they bring on, that they're looking for high quality. And so it sometimes does take time to find that quality. And then here I would like to bring out with Tammy and I and Tammy's visits to the Region Service Center, we again continue to align our district to make it more in tune with the others. And so we've changed the change of finance department to our business office instead of finance, because they do more than just finance. They actually are what we consider to be our business office. They handle some of the purchasing, the aspects, the accounts receivable, the payroll. So it was more inclusive to say the business office versus the finance department. And then the change of the title for executive administrative assistant to chief financial officer to business office specialist. And so
Dr. Anderson?
Yes.
I do apologize. I completely slaughtered that.
Yeah, I was reading.
Oh my goodness, I
Yes,
apologize.
so it goes from the executive administrative assistant, which is Tanya's title, to business office specialist. So she's no longer the executive administrative assistant to the chief financial office, but she's the business office specialist now in the title. Questions? Also, just so the board will know, we did have several campuses, 5 campuses affected by the February winter storm that happened a couple of weeks ago. And so just in case you're interested in knowing, we have Midland, Odessa, Lubbock, Killeen, and Fort Worth will all close for a day or two due to the winter weather. And so we're waiting to see what the state does or TEA does as far as waiver requests or requirements or anything like that. And so we'll be bringing those to the board if necessary. And then the last thing, I'd mentioned that we would be trying to expand into 2 additional cities next year. After discussion with Tammy and Carl and Becky and Dr. Gibbons, we did vote to postpone it 1 more year. There was a waiver. We would have been required to get an academic waiver. And then that waiver would have given us permission to say, okay, we'll waive that. You can go ahead and submit your expansion request or application. And I didn't want to play double jeopardy. I didn't want to submit the application and the waiver request at the same time, because if the waiver is denied, then most likely the application would have been denied. And that's a lot of work in getting that application together and sending out letters to all the local districts saying that we're going to expand. So what I would like to do is just wait until next year when our academics will be strong. We won't necessarily need the waiver, and then submit the application. So we'll be working on that next school year to open up for the 24-25 school year, is what we've decided would be best for the district. Any questions from me?
Questions? So do we have a pre-recorded report from Tammy?
Yes.
Yes, sir. I'm going to pull that up here in a second.
Becky, do you want to go ahead with Carl's presentation and come back to this?
I'm almost there, sir. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. This person, it looks like your puppy's having a good day.
She's having lots of snacks today.
Hello. Today we'll be reviewing the December financial information. I have included some information on the introductory page, and please note that these December financials have changed since the original reports were distributed. We did notice a correction that needed to be made, and I requested new reports be issued, which will be reflected in this presentation today. As of the December financials, we have accrued 82. We are seeing our enrollment data by month for the past 3 years. As of this report, the highest day in December was 1,617 students, which is 41 students more than this same time last year, and also the second highest month for this fiscal year. On the following page, this is ADA for the month of December. We are at 78% attendance, which is still higher than what we have seen in several of the previous years. On the following page, this chart represents our foundation school payment revenue that we've received versus the amount that we budgeted. We budgeted $16.8 million, and currently with our enrollment, we're recording revenue of $15.1 million. The following page is our days cash on hand, and as a reminder, this is calculated by breaking annual expenses down into a daily amount and then dividing it by the cash balance at the end of the month. If a charter has 60 days cash on hand, then TEA gives the highest rating for this indicator. And as you can see from this chart, this is also the highest number of days cash on hand that we have had all year. Looking at the 22-23 year-to-date revenue versus expenses chart, we can see through the month of December that we have $8.7 million in expenses and $7.6 million in revenue. And this chart applies to all funds of revenue. On the following page, our administrative cost ratio continues to be an item that requires attention. As a reminder, we're comparing state spending here in function 21 and 41, which are considered administrative costs, to our instructional costs, which are function 11, 13, and 31. Function 21 expenses are higher than last year, primarily due to staffing changes, but our function 41 expenses have remained relatively consistent. However, our instructional expenses paid out of Fund 420 have decreased by $1 million. In order to gain the extra Charter First points in this area, we would need to spend another $900,000 in instructional expenses, or shave approximately $150,000 off our administrative expenses. The decrease in instructional costs is primarily due to the use of federal ESSER funds instead of state funds. Currently, we are losing 4 Charter First points for this indicator, and all things considered, RMA is not facing the ESSER cliff that some districts are talking about right now when those funds run out. However, we do need to consider whether achieving 10 Charter First points for this indicator is as important as utilizing all of our allowable ESSER funds. So it is a delicate balance to achieve what our desired outcome is for this indicator. The chart on the following page is comparing our actual ADA to what TEA has our average ADA from previous years. Following up on the next page, you can see our estimated Charter First rating. If the fiscal year ended today, we would score a meets standard. In addition to losing the points for the administrative cost ratio that we discussed, indicator 10 and 12 are directly attributed to only being 6 months into our fiscal year. And looking forward to the income statement, most of our spending is on track for this time of the year. Since we have only accrued 82 days of revenue, we would expect to see about 43% of revenues and about 50% of expenses. We have not experienced as much professional development this year at this point in the year, which is our function 13. And function 33 is lower than we expected because our health screenings are not all complete at this point. Community services, function 61 continues to be low because we have not had as many campus events this year. Transportation, which is function 34, those expenses are slightly higher than what we budgeted for because we have purchased more bus passes this year. Food costs at function 35 are also slightly higher than we expected. This is mostly due to economic factors for food. And security, function 52, continues to be an issue that schools are facing. And the percentage of the budget that we've used so far is a reflection of the recommendations that are coming down from TEA for school safety. Next, our balance sheet, which reflects assets and liabilities. And our net assets is reflected at the bottom of the page at $12 million. And lastly is our summary of finance, which is published by the state for foundation school payment revenues. It is dated December the 12th. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you.
Facilities update, Carl?
Before you move forward, Mr. Clemens, if there's any questions about any of Tammy's presentation, we do have Karen on the call with CSS to answer anything.
Any questions?
Okay.
Looks like we move on to facilities update, Carl Tanner.
Okay. I'm gonna try to run through this fairly quickly for you guys. So if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to speak up. Becky, you want to go to page 1106? And we'll be talking about the Amarillo relocation. So in Amarillo, our current lease is due to expire there and at the end of August of 24. And Dr. Anderson and myself have begun looking at properties to relocate that campus. That campus is one of our oldest and I hate to say it, most rundown campuses in our district. And so we feel that it's going to be very important to find just the right location for this campus. So let's see, a couple of more right here is where I'm at, Becky. And so we've identified a couple of pieces of property, 2615 Paramount Boulevard, Amarillo, Texas. That's our number one choice so far. We have a second. That piece of property is currently a church and is in very good condition. So we feel that the renovations on that piece of property would be less expensive. The property at 2400 Southeast 27th Avenue, Amarillo, is our second choice. This piece of property was a former cosmetology school. It has been abandoned. However, it's recently abandoned. So the school is probably not a lot of deferred maintenance, although there will be some deferred maintenance on that piece of property. And just to let the board know that we're going to be trying to get into this in the 24 school year, but if not, we would just extend our current lease to cover one more year to give us time to get into this building. And I'm going to go through the next couple of slides, or the next three slides are some photos of our number one choice at 2615 Paramount. So this is the current church. Some of the statistics there, their asking price is 1.1 million. However, we feel that there's some room for negotiation there. So we're pretty confident we can get that for where we want it. And then the next one, it just gives you kind of an aerial view. Also, a little map of how close this school is to our existing campus and geographically how it would change. We would just move about 2 miles to the north, but it would also still be within our students' driving radius. And so if we go to that final page, you'll see the yellow kind of thumbnail is where the new school is located. The RMA is where our existing school is located, and the dots throughout are our students where they're located. And the yellow section is a 5-minute drive from the new campus. The pink section is a 10-minute drive, and the blue section is a 15-minute drive from the campus. So that's kind of where we're at in Amarillo. Let's see, Becky, if you want to go to the next one. So in Fort Worth, we've been doing quite a bit of work in this area. Our current building at Camp Bowie, we are asking the owner, just out of the curiosity / courtesy, for a price on that building. However, we have identified a building at 2925 River Glen Drive that we're interested in. And we've also engaged a new broker, which is Colliers, and they will be leading a commercial real estate search for a piece of property should the River Glen property fall through. And in Fort Worth, the building that we're looking at has suffered some recent fire damage, and Frostbank will be providing us the name of 3 appraisers that we can. So we're moving forward with doing our due diligence on this building. So because of the fire damage, the owner is going to be providing us with a forensic engineering study just to make sure that there's no structural damage to the building. And then, like I said, Frostbank is going to be providing us some appraisers. We have to use their appraisers so that we could move forward with a purchase if we desire to do so. So the next image shows you a picture of what that building looks like. Now, this building would become both the central office and the campus for the Fort Worth area. And so if you'll look, it is a $4 million asking price. That was prior to the fire damage. So we think that's going to come down a good bit. And you can see where it's located geographically compared to our current school on the little map there. Becky will go down to the next page where you can see, once again, we're only about 2 to 3 miles from our existing location. One more page, Becky, and you can see the scatter pattern of where our students are located in reference to the new building. I was quite surprised by this map where we have students coming from all over the Fort Worth area. So once again, the yellow area is 5-minute drive, pink area is a 10-minute drive, and the blue area is a 15-minute drive to our new location if we decided to go there. The area that we've been searching for, I just gave you a picture of what that looks like. So we're well within our boundary area. And then I will give you an update of our Midland relocation. So our current Belmont lease in Midland expires on 3/31, and we hope to be in our new building prior to that date. That lease was first signed in 2016. And if need be, the lease can be extended. And it's not a month to month, it's actually a 2-month extension is what the landlord is asking for and what's written into the contract. And our current lease at the Alamo Heights Baptist Church was reduced to 5K plus utilities through May. So right now, as you guys know, we're paying double rent at our existing location plus our new location. However, Dr. Anderson and myself have worked with the church to reduce that as much as possible to help us until we're finished with construction. Gonzalez Contractors is currently working towards the construction. We're scheduled to be in that campus by March 20th. We do have some change orders and some extensions that have been requested and approved that would take us to a current completion date of March the 14th, which falls during our spring break period. And if all goes well, we would be moving kids in so that they would be able to start on the 20th. Once again, if we're delayed, we would be able to extend our current lease on like a month-to-month or a 2-month lease. And we are covered on the reduced rent at the Alamo Heights Baptist Church until May. And at the last board meeting, Mr. Clemens asked for some cost comparisons. And so our current lease at Belmont plus the triple net is $19,788.62. Our rent at Alamo Heights Baptist Church will, plus there is no triple net there, will be only $10,625. So that would equate to an annual savings of $109,963.44. So that would, and it would give us a lot more space. We'd end up with 5 additional classrooms, some media, an additional media lab, some assembly area, more office space. It's just a much better situation, and it's also located in a better part of town for us to attract more students. And then we'll go to the next slide, Becky. And Mr. Clemens also included this. So when we started looking at this, we were looking at the possibility of purchasing versus renting. And with the purchase of a building compared to the really good rent rate that we got in the Midland area, to purchase and renovate would have been approximately $154,000 more than what we would be paying to on an annual basis to rent where we're at. So I'll be happy to discuss that with you in further detail if you want to do that. Becky, you want to go down to the next slide? So at our Midland location, I just want to update you on some of the photos of construction. So the walls have actually gone up now. These are from a couple of weeks ago, and they were putting in the walls. All the plumbing, electrical, and IT have been put into place. We'll go to the next slide. They've begun painting, and I was told that the flooring should be arriving next Wednesday, and they will very quickly be putting down the flooring in this building. Also, as part of this renovation, we do have a few more classrooms. So go ahead, Becky, to the next slide. And we're expecting some furniture deliveries within the next couple of weeks. We're going to be moving over our existing furniture. Plus, we're going to be adding about the 5 classrooms worth of additional furniture. So you can see what the furniture layout will look like for that campus. Becky will go to the next one. And Dr. Anderson has already touched on this. We had looked at doing an expansion. We had identified some areas in the college, in the Bryan College Station area, as well as Grand Prairie. Becky had already done quite a bit of work to move us in that direction, as you can see there. However, we have decided to put that on hold until this time next year. Next slide. Oh, wait a minute, go back up one. So there's the ESSER, yes, the ESSER HVAC upgrades. This is the one that we did some housework on earlier. The Silver Associates is the company that's, or the engineering firm that's doing the design work for us. The board approved them sometimes last year to do that work. As I mentioned, we went out to advertise on the 15th of February. Plans and bid documents were made available today. I've already seen quite a bit of interest in the project from contractors, so I'm very encouraged about that. They're scheduled to do site visits on February the 22nd. And then they have a kind of a question and answer period, March 1st through March 10th, where they can get clarification on the plans. And then the bids are due on March the 15th. And once again, it's our desire to get this project kind of buttoned down for the board's next board meeting, so we can bring that to you guys and we can begin construction during the summer. And we hope to be completed with this project by November the 1st of this year. And Becky, there was just the last page was just to give you an update of where our buildings are as far as what's due to be either the lease has to be renegotiated or we have to relocate those campuses. I'll always include that just so you can keep up to date with it. And that's it. Any questions or concerns from the board? Then if not, we'll go on down to page 1128. As part of our safety and security obligations to the state and along with the Texas Safe School Center and the local ESCs are conducting intruder detection or intruder audits on on campuses throughout the state. Thus far, we have had 3 audits at the RMA campuses. Pasadena, which we discussed last board meeting, they passed. And at this board meeting, I'm happy to say that both our Houston campus and our Fort Worth campus have passed their intruder audits as well. I add this to each of the board meetings because if we have one of these audits that we fail, we're required to bring it to the board within 45 days. So I just put it as a kind of a standing item so that we can address it if need be. If we fail, we'd have to come to you and tell you what we failed or why we failed and what we're doing to remedy those situations. But so far we've done very well, and congratulations to our principals and our DICs who have overseen those inspections. That's it. Thank you, board.
Thank you, Carl. Good report. Have any questions? Looks like we have one item left, the introduction of New Midland Campus Principal, Dr. Gibbons.
Hello, everyone. Unfortunately, Miss Barraza is out today. She's out sick, but I do want to give you just a little bit of brief information about her. She's coming to us from Midland ISD, where she has over 18 years of experience, 17 years with Midland ISD, where she was a classroom teacher, assistant principal, a specialist, and a principal, and that is her background. She is a native of West Texas and a graduate of Sul Ross University. Like again, unfortunately, she was out sick today.
Thank you.
Any other comments, questions? The meeting is adjourned. See you next month.
Thank you all. Have a good one.
Have a good night. Bye.
Thank you, everybody.